Hi. It is your favorite frizzy-haired, double-chin, talking while driving person, me. I am on my way to my first day of teaching at this school that shall remain unnamed. It is my first time teaching at this school ever. It's the first day of the semester. For this school, because I've been teaching, obviously. I taught Friday and I taught yesterday. I did actually do a first day of school video, but I had a bunch of editing problems and ended up deleting the whole video. Turns out I suck at editing. Turns out I just suck at a lot of things. Ugh. But I am having a really rough morning. I'll get into that. But I wanted on the way to work today to do this video because there's something that's really, really frustrating me lately. As you guys are all aware, whether you have kids or not, or you work in education or not, the school year is upon us, a new school year. And with the new school year means everything back to school. I want to start by saying that it's very frustrating to me as an educator, as a mom, as a functional member of society, how undervalued education in general and educators are as a whole. Education since ancient times has been considered vital. Education was something that for a really long time was only attainable by the elite, by the aristocracy, the upper class, the wealthy, those who belong to a particular set of the human race. Education has always been a way for those in power to stay in power and keep those without power from obtaining it. And now in 2019, we would like to think that that is not the way education is viewed anymore, that everyone has a right to education. But that's simply not the case at all. And it's really frustrating that something as important as education is treated with such a lack of respect. To begin with, it's so awful that our schools are so poorly funded that there is such an issue with classroom funding and school funding that companies like Staples, I was watching TV last night, there was a commercial for Staples, and the commercial was like, oh, come in and buy stuff between this period and this period, and Staples is going to donate whatever percent of your total, like 15% of whatever it is you spend, to local schools. That's fantastic. Thank you, Staples. But it is not Staples' job to fund our classrooms. We as a society, as a whole, should be funding our classrooms. And I don't mean we should be relying on the teachers. If you have students in school, if you have children in school, I hope you realize that your teachers, that your kids' teachers are primarily paying for everything you see throughout the entire school year out of their own pockets. If your student's classroom has writing instruments or paper or things on the walls, if your student's classroom, your kid's classroom has anything besides what you would imagine would be in a prison school, it is because your child's teacher is using their minimal, crappy, bare minimum paychecks to make sure that your child is going to be learning in an engaging, entertaining, valuable, and good, comfortable environment. They're all coming out of their paychecks. They're not living a lavish life. They're not spending the summers on the beach in Mexico sipping, margaritas. That's simply not the way it works. And then you have the parents are being expected to also help supply classrooms worth of school supplies, which isn't a huge deal. I don't like when parents complain that they have to do things like buy Kleenex for the classroom. It's important to have Kleenex in the classroom, and there's a really good chance that, your child's teacher just simply can't afford it, and the schools aren't paying for it. So somebody has to buy it. I realize that I'm ranting here. This is going to be probably a slightly longer video. I'm not sorry. I'm having a frustrating day. So then you have your child that goes through K through 12, and that's one type of education in its own set of insane issues. Then you have college and university levels. I'm super frustrated that I'm in a situation where I have to teach this semester again. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm teaching at 3 schools. It was supposed to be 4. I was on the roster to teach at 4 schools. I gave one of those schools up to be at 3. I'm teaching at 3 schools. I have 5 classes altogether, spread out over the course of 5 days a week. Okay, so working 5 days a week, that doesn't sound like a big deal. It's not. 3 days a week, I have to travel a half hour in one direction to teach back to back, to then leave immediately so I can drive an hour and a half to go teach another set of classes elsewhere. I spend my day driving back and forth. I don't have time. I'm constantly very stressed out with my workload. My workload is massive. And then I have to deal with things like today, the school that I'm teaching at today. I requested to have my official transcripts from my master's degree and from my PhD school sent to this school so that they could be processed so that I could get paychecks. I did this months ago, and they just decided to tell me today that they never received them, and that, lo and behold, I can't get paid until they have that information. So I had to pay money again to have my transcript sent over. If you are fortunate enough to not be in a field where bureaucracy is king, congratulations, your life is awesome. Teaching at colleges and universities is a bureaucratic nightmare. It's frustrating. And then to have to organize all of that bureaucratic bullshit for multiple institutions, trying to remember everything I need to remember for all of these different places is exhausting. I need a personal assistant. I mean, I say that jokingly, but I mean it in all seriousness. I have a very hard time keeping my life organized. I would love to have someone help me organize my life. I just want to give them access to my life and let them figure out a way for it to make sense, because I am losing my mind. So I'm on my way to go teach this class. I'm nervous, but excited. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I have cramps, so my entire body feels like death. I took some St. John's wort so that hopefully my mood will be lifted, because right now, as you could maybe tell, I'm not in a great one. So I'm really hoping that things go well with this class today, that there aren't any more hang-ups. I'm hoping that the semester starts and things go well. But really, I just wanted to make this video because I really want to stress that education is important. I want to stress that if you are not actively doing something to help out education and educators, you need to start. I've heard people argue about, well, I don't have any kids, so why should I have to pay taxes for the schools? Or why should I be responsible? If you exist in a location, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you would really like for that area to be populated by educated people. That you don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of poorly educated people. Going to be nice. And that means that you need to put into that. Education isn't something that just benefits the person receiving the education. Education is something that benefits the entire society, the entire community. So I don't care if you have kids or not. Support your local classrooms, support your local teachers, donate school supplies, donate your time if you can do that. Do something. Don't just sit there and not help. If you are an educator, know that I love you and I feel your pain, and I am as frustrated with this state of things as you are. Depending on what you have going on, you're probably more frustrated than I am. At least the college level is a little bit different than K through 12. But you're not alone. Education is important. I value you. Doesn't matter if society apparently doesn't want to. I do, because my opinion somehow matters. I love you guys. I'm going to put on some music and hopefully kind of decompress a little bit before I get there. And I think on the way home I will record kind of a, now that the semester is a few days in, I've taught most of my classes, let's talk about it kind of video. I love you guys. Have the best day ever. Have a better day than I'm having. And I will see you all soon. And today's pumpkin spice latte day. So if you're a pumpkin spice person, go to Starbucks. Happy fall, y'all. Love you. Talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye.